What up, what up, what up, New York Giant Nation? It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan, coming back at y'all with the episode 17 of the Real Deal NFC East Roundup. And I got a special guest on here with me today. I'm going to bring him in. My man, His Squad Productions, man. Welcome to
Hey,
the
what's
show, man.
going on?
Appreciate you. What's
Hey,
good, bro? Thanks for
appreciate you, man.
stopping through.
Yes, sir.
Let
Yes,
them
sir.
know, introduce yourself, let them know who you are, man, where they can find you at, bro.
Hey, thank you again. Thank you for having me on, man. I mean, it's going to be a great show. I'm actually really excited. I've been looking forward to this all day today, to be real with you. Uh, yeah, I go by Hit Squad Productions. You can find me on YouTube under Hit Squad Productions. You could also find me on Twitter as Hit Squad Productions as well, man.
Word, word. So we gonna just be talking about these NFC East games from the past weekend. So we gonna get ready to get right on into it, man. And first one up. I usually say the Giants games for last all the time, but in this case, doesn't really matter anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and get right to the Cowboys at the New York Giants on Sunday, man. And
Yes,
it
sir.
was a rough day, man. Ugly day, man.
Oh,
For
to say the
the
least, man.
but in this one, man. Hey, how you doing, Mark the Blue Giant? Good to see you in here, man.
What's up, Mark? What's up?
King Tone, what's up, bro?
Tone.
But if you want any comments on this game first before I get into some
Yeah.
things?
So this is for the Dallas and Giants, correct?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, I already mentally prepared myself. Before this game had happened, I was like, we're probably not going to lose. I mean, seriously, we're probably not going to win. I felt that the Giants were going to keep it close, and then around the third quarter, maybe going into the fourth quarter, Dallas was going to get things going, and then ultimately, Dallas was going to win this game. Uh, I want to say this much, right? While Dallas has been, I don't know what's going on with their offense. I mean, the Cowboys fans have been really talking about how their offense has been underperforming since the Chiefs game. Their defense has been very solid. I'll give them that much. But even with their offense still being slumped, like kind of in a slump, you still got Amari Cooper, you still got CeeDee Lamb, Albert Wilson. They still have studs at the tight end position, Ezekiel Elliott. So I personally thought that this would be a perfect game for the Cowboys to go in there and score some points. We were the Chiefs get right game, unfortunately, and now they're sitting at number one in the AFC. So I kind of had this as a get right game for the Dallas Cowboys. But defensively, I mean, this defense was doing its thing. I mean, and we were missing pieces in the secondary. We had Dory Jackson out. I mean, he was going to be out regardless with his groin injury, but he was placed on the COVID list. Our newest addition, Aaron Robinson, who we selected in this past draft, who's really been coming into his own. I mean, he was placed on the COVID list. And then on top of that, I mean, our secondary was looking pretty thin. It really has been. And I was a little concerned that, Dak Prescott may be able to get hot and take advantage of this secondary. But that really wasn't the case. This defense held its own. I mean, Lorenzo Carter, where has this Lorenzo Carter been all year? Literally, he had 2 sacks, man. I mean, he had a forced fumble as well. I mean, I think that's the player that Patrick Graham and the New York Giants were really expecting to get out of Lorenzo Carter. Aziz Ojolari had another half sack. I think he has 8 sacks for the year, which is great considering he was a second round pick. And same with Quincy Roche. I think that those two players right there, Aziz Ojolari and Quincy Roche, are pieces you can build upon going forward. Maybe they'll get you a stud edge rusher in the first round next year, and you got a solid rotation between those three players. But I wasn't too shocked that we lost this game, but I don't want to see Mike Lennon on the field no more. I don't. I don't care if he is the best option to go with in terms of knowing the playbook going forward. You know what you have in Mike Glennon. I mean, he is god awful. He, I believe, was 13 or 24 for a total of 99 yards and 3 interceptions. That is
That's
QBs get
exactly what
kicked
he
out.
was.
Yeah, QBs get kicked out of the league for having those kind of production. Excuse me, for having that production, having those stats. And it's funny how Jake Fromm came in for a drive. Granted, Dallas was playing prevent defense, but still he was 6 to 12 for 82 yards. So he almost had as many passing yards as Mike Glennon did in a fraction of the time. So that was a little concerning. I mean, it is what it is with Mike Glennon. Prayers up to Sterling Shepard, man. I mean, that Achilles injury. I, as much as I love Sterling Shepard, man, I think he should hang it up. I really do. I mean, just outside of the injuries he's dealt with alone, man. I mean, this is at this point, man, with the concussions, the groins, the hamstrings, and now the Achilles, you got to look out for the betterment of your health and for your health, excuse me. So I wouldn't be shocked if he's a player that maybe retires going forward in the future. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this game, man. Wasn't too shocked, but defensively, I will say this much: I was impressed. I was really impressed because I'll be honest with you, I'm looking right now, and I can't. I'm gonna be real. I can't tell you who our second corner was in that game. I really can't. I mean, I believe it was a player that we brought up from the practice squad, if I remember correctly. So I mean,
I think it
credits to
was.
Patrick Graham.
I forgot the young man's name now too, but I think he wasn't fresh off the practice squad. He had been up on the roster for a couple of games, had a few. He did have some snaps, but he had to step up and be the starter when Aaron Robinson got had to sit down with the COVID. But yeah, I mean, good take on that game, man. I agree with you 100% with everything you said. I was been talking about this how Fromm came in for that last drive and almost equaled the stats of Glennon for the whole entire game. It's just, I mean, at this point, that proves right there. There's nothing more to see in Mike Glennon. At this point, you just got to evaluate talent the rest of the way, man. Because even for what it's worth, he even when Fromm came in, he seemed to find a little connection with Galladay just that quick on that one drive. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
Galladay only had 3 catches on the day, and 2 of them were on that last drive when Fromm was came in at quarterback. So I just feel like that's the direction we need to go in, and I also agree with your take with the Quincy Roche and Jesus Ojolari, man. We can build around these guys as good young pass rushers, man. Get a good strong rotation. Lorenzo Carter, I'm really on the fence with this guy at this point
Hmm.
because he'll have a game like this, but then he won't have another game like this until midseason next year or
Yep.
something. And it's just like I just don't know. I just exactly what Mark the Blue Giant is saying right there,
Yep.
man.
Gotta go.
I feel you on that. You got to go, man. These or if he's gonna be here, he's got to just be part of a rotation, man. He can't be like that starter, that guy, man. I would he can hang around if he's gonna be just part of a rotation. But as far as being the man out there, one of our starting outside linebackers, edge rushers, whatever, I just I can't deal with another year of that, man, because he's just too inconsistent, man. He has all the
Underwhelming.
talent in the world, but he just can't put it all together consistently, get the job done.
Hmm.
And just for what it's worth with Dallas's offense, man, like you were saying, they got a star-studded offense, man. But like in this game, for instance, Dalton Schultz led the way for him, man. 8 big catches, man, only for 67 yards. It seemed like it was so much more than 67 yards. Dalton Schultz had a really nice game on Sunday against us, man. And it agitates me how we allow tight ends usually just to beat us up like this. I mean, other than that Kansas City game with that strong effort against Kelsey, man,
Hmm.
I just don't know why we still allow tight ends to exploit us the way we do. And we got another tough one coming up on Sunday. The
Oh
game
yeah.
he had last night, man. And it, but
It's gonna be tough,
yeah,
man. It's gonna be tough.
yeah. But I do like appreciate the way we are finding starting to try to get the run game going, making a more of a conscious effort to do that. It's just we still got to get it going more. I know a lot of that has to do with the offensive line just not being up to snub, but I do appreciate the way that they have been starting to make an effort to run the ball a lot more. Barkley's getting slowly but surely getting his legs back underneath them. Hopefully, by next year he will be that guy again. If he's still
Mhm.
here, we never know. We never know what the offseason may bring us.
Yeah, no, you're
But
right. And I mean, I just want to make this quick point because we're talking about Barkley real quick. Honestly, if you're asking me, I think Barkley is starting to get his legs under him. I think a lot of people don't really take into consideration because I mean, we're just we want our team to win. We I mean, I'm sure most of us haven't experienced an injury like that. We just see it as these are athletes. They have the money for the proper rehab. But that's a scary injury to come back from. That's a huge injury to come back from. Um, and when you have to deal with this offensive line that we have here, man, I mean, how could you expect him to come out looking like his rookie season? I just can't see that being, possible at the moment. But it looks like he's slowly getting there. And the offensive line, at least run wise, has been making some holes. So I think that we may be getting the old Saquon back, going into next year if we keep him.
I mean, I'm hoping that because some people say a lot of different things about him, and I always my take on Saquon the year we drafted him. I do agree with the opinion of a lot of people that you shouldn't necessarily take a running back that high, but at
Hmm.
the same time, Saquon Barkley in that draft class was the undisputed number one talent in that draft class. And sometimes
That's
you just take a
facts.
swing with that, man. You just take a swing on that sometimes, and nobody complained after the rookie season. You know what I mean? Nobody.
Hmm.
Nobody had a complaint or a problem in the world after the rookie season, and I know we can get that. We can get that kind of get that level of play back out of him again, man. Which I feel like a healthy Saquon Barkley, he can play like that again because it's starting to show flashes of it, man. He's like this close to breaking one, man. I feel like breaking a real big one. So
Oh, I
hopefully that
think
can
so
happen.
too.
Hopefully that can happen on Sunday, but we'll see. But Shep also, man, yeah, tough break for the kid, man. Like I love Sterling Shepard to death, but he's missed multiple games every season of his career, man. So,
Hmm.
like you said, at some point you got to protect yourself from yourself, man. I'm sure he's made plenty of money in this league over the course of his career so far. He can move on and do some other things in life, but sometimes at some point he's got family to think about. He's still a young guy, man. He don't want to go out there crippling himself and or anything like that. And at this point, it just seems like it's not headed for anything good with him injury wise. It's always one thing after another with him, man. Now, once again, down for the year with a major injury that he may not even be ready to start next year anyway. At
Yeah,
this point
no,
now,
because you got to
so
think about it. They take about a year to come back from,
yeah,
and we're towards the end of the season.
it's a pretty
So
significant injury, man. So
and I mean, honestly, it's really upsetting considering the fact that his rookie year, I was really excited for him because he was balling his rookie year. It just seemed like if there was a ball being thrown in the end zone, it was going to Sterling Shepard. Even with Victor Cruz being there, even with OBJ being there, the Sterling Shepard was a player that was really electrifying in this offense. I mean, I said earlier this year that he was our best route runner. I still feel that way. Which I mean, you could take that for how you will. Some people might say, that's bad if he's our best route runner. But I
I
don't
mean,
know. Hey,
he's a good solid receiver when he's healthy on the field, able to play.
facts.
The problem
Hmm.
is he's just not on the healthy on the field, able to play nearly enough, man. I mean, the flight. You remember the first game of the season against the Denver Broncos? He had a big
Yep,
game. First couple of weeks of the season, as a matter of fact, he was
he
leading
did.
the way for us out there. So I mean, when healthy, the kid can play, man. It's just that he's just not healthy enough, man. So I just
He can't. He can't stay healthy, and that's his biggest issue. I don't think any Giants fan has ever questioned the talent that he has, but unfortunately, he's one of those players that can't stay healthy, and it's sad because that's a talented kid. He's no scrub. He got that contract extension for a reason. Um, Sucks, man. I mean, but I don't I don't think he makes it next year. I think the Giants cut him. I think they take
I,
that dead
I
cap here.
I agree. I think he played his last game with the New York Giants. I think you just got to cut your losses at some point, man.
Yeah.
I wish him the best of luck, man, because like I said, I always like the guy, man. But right now in this business, man, he can't stay healthy. Like I was saying, I was
Exactly.
telling somebody like people can say what they want about Saquon Barkley and his rough luck he's had the last couple of years. The ankle injury, the sprained ankle this year was an absolute fluke.
Hmm.
But I guess say Sterling Shepard is with definition of injury prone. That's what injury prone is. This guy literally
Yeah,
goes down every year for multiple weeks every season. And right now, Saquon Barkley might possibly be on a roll like that, but I think there's still a little yet to be determined with him more when you make that comparison. Because I mean, the injury this year, like I said, was an absolute freak injury, and he stepped on somebody's foot
yeah.
and sprained his damn ankle. I mean, it was just a tough break. It just
And that
happened to
like
be
never
him.
happens. It never happens. Like it was such a freak accident, but that just it tells you the Giants' season. Unfortunately, man, injuries and freak accidents, man.
Yeah. Just want to shout out my man G Nation Inside Sports, man. Thanks for showing up, Lou, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, Jaden, you're right. What could have been with Shep? I mean, I honestly felt going forward that was our number two. Even with OBJ being gone, I thought that was our number two. And
I mean,
yeah, I'm in my feelings now. Can't even hold you.
yeah,
uh,
yeah. He's a good slot receiver, man. Like you said, he was definitely, like I said, good when healthy, man. Just that was the only problem. He was never healthy. What's going on, Zion? Good to see you, man.
hey, what's going on, Zion? What's going on, brother?
But if you got any more thoughts on this one, his squad?
I guess the only thing I could say is, the rest of the season, see what you got. I think that I like the aggression from Joe Judge in this game. Think that's, I think you can make the argument that's probably his most aggressive game he's called this year. Going on it on fourth downs, which we haven't seen too often. The only one I didn't necessarily agree with was we went for fourth down. We went for it on fourth down on our own 32, which then led to a field goal by Dallas. So for me, I would have punted in that situation, but regardless, you're 4-10 for a reason. So, I mean, do what you got to do. But yeah, no, that's where I stand on that game, man. I mean, we'll see Dallas next year, and we'll be a lot better next year.
I agree. I think Lou want to come on and say something. I'm gonna see
Yeah,
if he try to jump on real quick with that's all right with you.
yeah, absolutely, man. Come through, Lou.
I just put it up in the chat, Lou. But if not, we can get ready to move on to last night's game because I got a
Yeah,
little bit
let's
of
get it.
comments on this one, man.
Let's get it. That was a good game last night, man. I'm not gonna
It
lie
it,
to you.
it, it was definitely interesting. It was definitely eye opening.
Mm-hmm. To say the least, very eye opening.
Uh, question real quick. Let me answer this question for Jaden right quick. Right now, my thoughts on this season right now, man, is obviously it's definitely over. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's definitely the end. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing more we're not gonna get anything more really accomplished this year. But I feel like it's just we need to start at this point the rest of the way. We need to get the talent evaluated, see what these young guys got, see what they can bring to the table, man.
Yo,
Because right about now, it's just there's no point in seeing Mike Glennon back on the field no more. There's no
Hell
point.
no.
We don't need to see none of that anymore. It's like it's nothing. Just need to see what you got. See who the Joe Judge guys are. Find those guys, and you got to start moving forward with them, man, and start trying to build
mm-hmm.
this team the way he wants it built. I know he's handcuffed a little bit by ownership at the top, probably. I'm sure he is because that's just we're one of those kind of organizations, man. Ownership got their hands in everything.
Oh
Don't
yeah,
let their employees just do the work, get the job done. But at the same time, Joe Judge it would be beneficial for him to get the to see what he's got on this team, get the talent, like I said, get the talent evaluated, man.
yeah. I'm there with you, Matt. I mean, Jaden, I know you didn't ask me, but I'm gonna give you my answer anyway. Uh, yeah, this season's been underwhelming, man. It's been really underwhelming. The only thing that I mean, there's a lot of things that upset me, but as a fan, what upsets me is Philly wasn't supposed to be good this year. Neither was Washington. I mean, I was talking a lot of crap to both organizations because I mean, I really felt, Ayo, this is like a 10-11 win team. I mean, who's gonna stop Galladay on top of Kadarius Tony, on top of Barkley, on top of Daniel Jones's legs? but ultimately it was us who stopped ourselves, man. Uh, but I agree with you, Mark the Blue Giant. I think that we will be back. I think that the times of when we were a competitive, winning organization, I think those are a lot. I think it's a lot closer than people think. I know I may get called a homer for that one, but I actually had someone ask me today on Twitter, if I could take anything from the season, what could I take? Uh, you got yourself three cornerstone pieces that you can build around in this organization, at least in my opinion, and that's Andrew Thomas, Xavier McKinney, and Aziz Ojolari. Now go get you some more Joe Judge guys. Go get that edge, go get that tackle, because the O'Shanes, the Carters, the Will Hernandezes, they're not it. Those are not Joe Judge guys. Those are past regime guys. You got to go get what the players that fits your coach's culture. And the more that we talk about that, like the more it makes sense. I mean, the past two drafts, I loved it. I got to be real with you. I think it's the best drafts that we've had in 4 years.
Well,
Including
according to the article that came out earlier today, Andrew Thomas was a Jason Garrett guy.
Yep, I read that too, which is honestly that's insane. If
That's
that's
not
true, that's
insane
insane.
considering that Jason Garrett had one of the best offensive lines in football in Dallas, and that's how he was able to
That is
look good
true.
with that ancient ass playbook.
Facts.
No, that's
Facts.
true. You're right about that. You're definitely right about that.
So it
Uh,
makes sense because his playbook, his scheme is old and outdated. But if you got an offensive line, then running is still working.
hmm They still doing it now. They got three, I think, three number ones at their wide receiver position. Because I think that Gallup is the number one on another team, not on Dallas,
I,
but on another team that's a number one.
No,
I think he could be.
Me and Pat was going live at 9 for our True Big Blue podcast that we do on Wednesday. But I saw you guys was live, so I pushed it back to 9:30 and decided to jump on here with you guys.
Oh, man, that's love,
Yeah,
dog.
I just break. On here every week, every Wednesday, Lou. I just be breaking down the NFC East games from the weekend, man. It's only four, only two games. It was only two games this past week. Obviously, it's all the whole division played each other,
So what
and
time do you normally do it? So we can come
I
on
do it.
yours because me and Pat always do
I
the True
do.
Big Blue podcast on Wednesday night. So if you tell us what time, we can come on yours, and then when we're done with yours, we can jump on ours. You know what I'm saying?
I do this at 8:30 every Wednesday night, bro.
8:30. Okay.
Yeah, every Wednesday night. But
Okay.
yeah, we was just talking about the Cowboys and Giants game. We just talked about that. We was going to move on to the Eagles and Washington game from last night.
Okay.
And I had some thoughts on this game, man. Eagles looked. I know Washington had Garrett Gilbert starting quarterback. I get that, but this Eagle team played a complete football game last night, man. Jalen Hurts to me had his absolute best game as an NFL football player last night, and he looked like a real quarter. He looked like a real quarterback last night. As far as he didn't depend on his legs solely for his offense, man. He was getting it done with his arm, man.
Yeah.
Like 20 or 26, 296 yards in a touchdown pass, and he did run two in also. He had a big night, man. And then Miles Sanders with that run game, man. 18 carries for 131 yards, 7.3 yards per carry. That's getting it done, man. That's what I'm looking for back in New York, man. I'm looking for a run game like that again, man. Those type of run games. And then he's also finding his connection. Hurts with Dallas Goddard, man. Seven big catches for 135 yards, looking like becoming his favorite target all of a sudden, man.
Yep.
So this Eagle team is getting really hot at the right time of the year, going down the stretch. And I don't know, man. That was an impressive performance last night. They pretty much shut down. Washington down in
Yeah, I was
every
mad.
facet.
I wanted Washington to whoop their ass. Um, but I ain't gonna hold up your progress. I didn't know that you had a whole format to what you was doing, so I ain't gonna mess up your roundup. But I do want to say this to everybody who's viewing and hasn't subscribed yet, you're going crazy. Mac the Giants fan makes great content. He does this out of passion and love for the team and passion for
Yes,
sports.
sir.
Go ahead and sub that man up. Sub Hit Squad Productions up. We trying to build something great here. We all part of the Big Blue crew, and I'm gonna go ahead and slide out so they can finish bringing y'all the roundup.
Much love, Lou. I'll see you
All
soon,
right,
bro.
good look. I'll check you out after I'm done. After we done this, Lou.
All right, brother.
All right, bro. Shout out to G Nation, man.
Yes,
Thanks for
sir.
coming in, bro.
Facts, bro.
What's going on, Nate?
Oh, yo, what's up, Nate? What's up, man? What's up? What's up, the chat? Oh my God, there's a lot of people. Yeah,
But you got a few thoughts on this one, his squad.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you, Matt. I thought that this was Jalen Hurts' best, his best game. He looked he looked like an NFL quarterback. Um, and I'm
Absolutely.
one that I've been clowning Eagles fans saying that they got a nice running back for a quarterback. Um, I know a lot of people like to say Lamar is that, and I completely disagree. I think that Lamar is an NFL quarterback. But when I look at Jalen Hurts, when you make that comparison that, he's a running back playing quarterback, you need to not say that about Lamar and say that about Jalen Hurts because that's what Jalen Hurts is, in my opinion. But he looks solid, man. I mean, I think he had almost 300 yards passing. Um, and honestly, man, I mean, I gotta say this much. Uh, Credit the Philadelphia Eagles because this was supposed to be a year where they're rebuilding. You know, they got Nick Sirianni in the building. A lot of people, I mean, I'm just exposing myself, including myself, was clowning Nick Sirianni's press conference because he just looked like a nervous wreck. Some of the things he was saying just was laughable and didn't make sense. The media was clowning him. Um, Even some of the quotes after games and his post game conferences are very interesting. But they're winning. You know, they're 7-7. They're doing what Dave Gettleman tried doing and failed ultimately, and that was rebuilding while winning. You know, they're rebuilding and are a 500 team with a chance to go to the playoffs. On top of that, they got 3 first round picks next year. So Philly's set up in a good situation. Um, but I think that one player that we have to look out for, which is a player that you highlighted, that's Dallas Goddard, number 88. I mean, that's no no scrub you looking at. I mean, 7 receptions for 135 from a quarterback that really doesn't throw the ball all too well. I mean, that's a target that I could absolutely see, and I agree with you, Matt, becoming a favorite of Jalen Hurts. I mean, the tight end is the quarterback's best friend. But Dallas Goddard is coming into his own. I know that Jalen Rager and Greg Ward Jr. Helped set up the go-away touchdown to ultimately close the game. But I will say this much. They got themselves a solid offensive line, the Philadelphia Eagles. They have a line that protects their quarterback. And mind you, I mean, when we look at Philly the past couple of years, they've dealt with their fair share of injuries at that offensive line position. But they know how to coach up their plays. They know how to draft their offensive line talent, and they protected Minshew well. They protected Jalen Hurts well. So that just tells you that the foundation that they have, in their offensive line, excuse me, is it's solid. I mean, because when your running back Miles Sanders goes for 131, your second string running back goes for 70 yards, averaging almost 5 yards a carry, and then your quarterback goes for almost 40 yards. Man, I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, and we saw in games, in past games this season where before they played us, they was averaging like 200 yards on the ground. You would think that DeMarco Murray is back there when he was in Dallas, averaging that many yards, man. I mean, that's just some crazy stuff. Now, I know that, Washington had Garrett Gilbert, uh, but, Garrett played pretty well. He was 20 of 31 for 194 yards. They could not get the running game going like Philly could. But I mean, still, even with that, man, I mean, he was able to do what he had to do. Garrett Gilbert, they kept it pretty close up until that touchdown. Um, and I want to say this much too about the Washington football team. I actually don't dislike them as much as I dislike, let's say, the Cowboys or the Eagles. I just don't think that rivalry is there. I kind of feel sorry for them. If I'm being honest with you, Philly, I absolutely despise. I told Slay this to his face on my stream. I think this was either yesterday or the day before. Big Play Slay is the only Eagles fan I actually like. Like that's my dog. He a cool kid. but that's it. I do not like Eagles fans. I think they are a prime representation of their organization. Trash. I'm sorry, Eagles fans. But Washington, on the other hand, man, I mean, despite being 6-8, man, they don't have a quarterback right now. I know they got Heineke, but Heineke ain't it, in my honest opinion. And Ron Rivera is getting it done. I mean, despite them being 6-8, they could. I mean, they're going to need a lot of help, but they could find their way into that last playoff card spot if things go right for them. They're not completely out of it, and that's without their quarterback having a proper quarterback, and that's without having Chase Young, who is a perennial pass rusher. So, I mean, I love what Ron Rivera is doing. I think that he's building something good over there. I think that if they get a quarterback, they could be a dangerous team going forward. But ultimately, Philly was the better team. They were the better team easily. But I think that ends this weekend. I'm gonna just put that out there. I'm sorry, Eagles fans, but y'all will be 7-8 by Monday come. I'm just saying that. Back to you, man.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, man. With you, everything you was hitting on. Real quick, what's going on, Joe? Thanks for stopping in, man. Good to see you, bro. Shout out to Joe and
Yo,
Classified 3F. But
yes, sir.
yeah, yeah, Terry McLaurin in this one. I mean, two catches, 51 yards, and he had a long of 46. So that was like pretty much one catch for the most part in that game. If you really look at it, man,
Mm-hmm.
got to try to get that connection going. I mean, he's the best to me, the best individual receiver in the division. In my personal opinion, I think Terry
Yep.
McLaurin might doesn't truly get the proper respect he deserves. I think it's been a lot up and down. He's been dealing with a lot of up and down quarterback play. So I think that he's a really talented receiver, man. He need to find a way to get him going. And Antonio Gibson couldn't get anything going on the ground, man. 15 carries for 26 yards,
Mm-hmm.
average of 1.7 per attempt. That's
God, dog.
the complete opposite of what you had on Philly with Miles Sanders, man, with 18 for
Mm-hmm.
131. So yeah, they I think it might be a little that game might have been the one to sink Washington. It might be a little too late, like you said. They're not mathematically out of it, but it's not looking very promising going down the stretch, especially with the Eagles continuing to trend upward and with
Yes.
Jalen Hurts playing the way he is. And one I wanted to touch on one point you had brought up too, man, when you were talking about like the Eagles, how they deal with injuries and
Yeah.
and things. You're absolutely right, man. They have that next man up mentality. I feel like they're one of the best teams that they take it to that next level, man. When it comes to that mentality, man. When the Eagles have players go down, seems like they always just fill those voids, man. Next, like you said, next man up, and the next guy just comes in ready to go. Like even that Super Bowl run, Carson Wentz was literally having a damn MVP year, and he goes down with the serious knee injury,
Yep.
and in come Nick Foles just continue on, take on the rest of the way to where they need to go, the Super Bowl championship. And just like you said, all the injuries they deal with on the offensive line, and they still just find a way to keep making it work. They have been, in my opinion, the absolute best running team in football over the course of the last couple of months of the season. Now at this point,
Yeah. You're absolutely
they
right.
they're just steamrolling teams, man. Even when Miles Sanders was down, and it was weird that it took when Miles Sanders got hurt for them to even to start running the ball more. But
Mm-hmm.
but now that he's back, he's added that much more to that run game. So it's just they're a dangerous team right now, training, and I don't think anybody really would want to line up to play these guys right now, honestly, with the way they got things cooking. I think we're getting them on a good week right now. I mean, they got a really short week. I don't
Yeah.
think too many NFL teams had to prepare for a Sunday game after a Tuesday game. So you know what I mean. It's a little disadvantage for them, and we'll take every disadvantage we can get. We'll take every advantage we can get because we need it. To be
We
quite
got
frank,
to.
at this point.
Mm-hmm. And
But
I actually want to make this quick point real quick in terms of Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin. I 100% agree with you. I think that Terry McLaurin, if all things go how it's going right now with Washington, they can't seem to find themselves a QB. Um, I think that he may have a similar career to D Hop. I'm not saying that he's the same talent as DeAndre Hopkins, but you look at a majority of DeAndre Hopkins' career, he didn't have a QB till Deshaun Watson, and he was putting up huge numbers, man. huge numbers. And Terry McLaurin,
Honestly.
he has not had a good quarterback behind that offensive line. I mean, Heineke might be his best one at the moment, but even then, Heineke's not a good quarterback. But he's getting it done. I'm gonna give him that. He's getting it done, but I still don't think he's a good quarterback. But you get Terry McLaurin on a team that has a good quarterback, or if Washington goes and gets himself, a quarterback that they need, I mean, watch out because that's a scary wide receiver right there. I mean, there's a reason why he's called Scary Terry. I mean, don't get me wrong, because I've had Cowboys fans kill me for this. I love CeeDee Lamb. I love Amari Cooper. I actually wanted Amari Cooper because I had a feeling that he was going to get shipped out of Oakland. And, Dallas set a one over there. I love Amari Cooper, but he is not Amari Cooper when he is on the road. He just disappears. And that's what you don't need in a wide receiver because you're not always going to play home. McLaurin shows up every week. Regardless of who they're playing, he shows up every week. So I'm in that same boat with you, Matt. And I'm glad that I'm not the only one that thinks that way because I'd be getting looked at crazy when I say that I think that McLaurin is the best wide receiver in this division. But CeeDee Lamb's catching up to him though, because Lamb looking nasty. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, he is, but I right now I got McLaurin a little bit of because I think
Oh
CD
yeah.
Lamb is in a put Terry McLaurin on Dallas. Imagine that.
Ooh,
If you
don't
flip
don't don't
flop,
make me imagine that,
that's what I'm
man.
saying. Flip flop those guys' situation. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's why McLaurin to me is a special talent, man. And I think if he can get some steady quarterback play, he can literally be one of the best wide receivers to ever do it in this league, man. But
yeah, he's scary, man. Scary Terry.
I don't know if you had any more thoughts on this one, man, or
Um, my only thoughts after everything we spoke about, Philly. I'm not. I'll be honest with you. While they are a fringe playoff team, I'm not fully sold on them. I think that you can stop Philly. I think that they're a team that they're going to play you hard. They're going to play you close, but they got a lot of weaknesses to that team. But they're doing a good job at not showing those weaknesses, and that's ultimately good coaching. So they're doing something right. And Washington, I'm sorry, y'all are still trash, dog. Y'all are still trash. Y'all should be 5-9 right now instead of 6-8 if Darius Slayton can catch a damn ball. But that's another time.
I mean, I think the secret to beating Philly, man, honestly, is to attack them in the air, man, because that's the weakness of that defense is the back end, man, is the
Yep.
weakness. I mean, I know Slays will plays back there making plays this season, but overall, the back end is they're definitely the weak points because up front they're still stout. Fletcher Cox is holding it down up front. I mean, they're still very legitimate. It's not easy just to try to go out there and pound the ball on the Philadelphia Eagles, man. So if you're gonna attack them, you got to try to figure out a way to attack them, attack that back end, man. Get them through the air. That's always gonna be your best chance, man.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because I'm not fully sold on their secondary, but what they do have is a good front seven that gets to the
Yeah,
QB,
absolutely.
that buys their cornerbacks some time. But if you got a good offensive line, I mean, yeah, you could take advantage of their secondary like with no problems. I feel. I'm not like I said, I'm not fully sold on either one of those teams. I still think that we play in a crappy division. Um, I think that
I agree.
man, we could sit here till tomorrow talking about how we're better than both of these teams if a couple things go right in past games, but it's in the past for a reason. So yeah, right now record wise, Philly and Washington are the better team, but if any of them get into the playoffs, let's be real, man, they're out within the first round. I mean, I'm gonna just say
Yeah,
that they're out in the first round.
I do agree with that. I mean, I honestly don't. I see. Well, obviously, I pretty much look like Dallas is going to end up winning this division, and then possibly Philly right now can possibly actually sneak in on that last spot. Like I said, I really don't think Washington. I think they pretty much sealed their fate last night with that L last night. Philly
Yep.
actually got probably has a shot, man. Especially considering they're still playing division games the rest of the way. Philly is
Hmm.
all division games, so I, I do agree though. I don't see anything. I don't see Philly making any noise if they do actually get in, because they're going to have a very tough matchup the first round. Whoever they play against is going to be
Oh yeah.
they're gonna have to go. They're gonna have to go on the road somewhere where it's not gonna be a good look for them. But at the same time, based off of their like I said their schedule and they got a legit shot, man.
Oh, they
Actually,
got an easy schedule.
get in there and get that. Yeah, I mean they've had that the whole way also,
Hmm.
and for what it's worth, I'll give Philly props for winning the games they're supposed to win. You know what I mean? Because they went out there, they played their last play schedule, and they beat up on the teams they're supposed to beat up on. I mean, that's just also facts. I mean, they don't
Yeah,
have that many really impressive wins on the season as far as against like top competition. Those are the games they pretty much lost. Most of the games that they played against like upper better football teams are pretty much the ones that they were losing. They beat up
yeah.
on the Detroit Lions of the world and stuff like that, the New York Jets and things like that and sort. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So they so I mean, for what it's worth, they went out there and handled that business the way they're supposed to. They beat the teams that they were supposed to beat.
I can't say we do the same, man. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, Mark. The Blue Giant, like you said, Philly's doing it right, man. I mean, they are.
Yeah, yeah. I,
So
I, I
it's
agree,
not
man.
easy to admit, but it's the truth.
It hurts me to
I hate
say it,
admitting
man.
that.
Yeah, I'm there with you, man. It makes me sick. I hate saying it, but it's the truth, man. I mean, I like you look at the last 2 years, they've dealt with injuries to that offensive line. They lost their left tackle last year, and when you look back at last year, it didn't even look like they lost their left tackle. If we lost Andrew Thomas, which we did this year, and we have Matt Parrott there, it was a big drop
Oof.
off. A
Yes, it
big
was.
drop off.
It was bad. It was really really
Yeah.
bad.
And if you can lose your left tackle and just put someone in there and it not look like you lost your left tackle, you won. You won. You're doing something right. So I hate Philly. I hate them with everything I got in me in my 280-pound body, but they're doing it right. So that's the only credit Philly's gonna get out of me. And hey, look, I'm not gonna say they will, but they could take the division too, man. I mean, Dallas got, obviously Washington and the Eagles, but they got the Cardinals as well, and the Cardinals are looking to get right. Coming off these two losses, man. I mean, Philly is all division, so I mean, it's still up there for them, man.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna I guess we wrap it up with that one, and then we can move forward
Yes,
next
sir.
week. Look into a little bit of next week's action, man. Once again, only two games only two games on the slate as far as for the
Hmm.
NFC East, and that's we're gonna start off with the Washington football team traveling down to Big D. So what you think about this one, man? How you think what you think that Washington's chances are in this one?
Uh, I think it depends if Heineke plays, but even if Heineke plays, um, I think Washington still wins. I know that Washington and Dallas, oddly enough, is usually they play pretty close to each other. I mean, that's a rivalry that goes back. That's a historic rivalry right there. But I mean, you just got to think that there's a game coming up where this offense for Dallas comes correct. I mean, you just don't have those three studs at wide receiver, Pollard and Zeke, and that offensive line. And I'll credit Dak. He's a good quarterback for what he is. Uh, you just don't go out there and lay a duck, and they've been doing that recently. Uh, so laying an egg, excuse me. They've been doing that recently though. So Washington, they got a questionable secondary, in my honest opinion, and I don't know. I can't sit here and say that I trust Washington's front seven to get to Dak behind that offensive line. I think that this is a game that uh, Washington's offense may try to prove a point, considering the fact that when Dallas went to Washington, they beat up on Taylor Heineke. I think, and I said this when that game happened. I thought that was the game that ended Washington's season, just because Micah Parsons himself looked like he just took the took the soul out of Taylor Heineke. He looked like, I mean, it was ridiculous how that kid took over. So Washington may try to make it a point, going to Dallas, but I don't see them winning. I think Dallas improves to 11-4 after this game, man.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that as well. I don't. I do think Dallas's offense is due for like one of those big crazy games. And this could be the week that happens, man. I think this Washington team that lost last night, that might have took the wind completely out of their sails, man. They're already dealing with a lot of adversity as it is, and I don't know. I don't see them, and they're coming up on this very short week to go down in there and play a great team like the Dallas Cowboys. That's a tall order, man.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah, man.
I can't really imagine Dallas losing this one, man. I think they're going to win big. As a matter of fact, I think Dallas beats Washington in this one. They may put up 40 on Washington in this game,
We're in the
and
same boat. Yep.
I feel like this could be one of those like I'd say like 41 17 type of games or something like that. I don't know. I just don't Washington, I think they had that little quick spurt. They had those few wins and it got hot real quick and then I think now it's just back to reality that they're a beat up team, man, and they got a lot of holes they need to fill as well. And the loss
Mhm.
of some of their great pass rushers, man. I know they got a lot of them on the team, but you lose your best ones, Chase Young and I don't know why other guy's name not coming to mind right now, but they
Uh, Sweat.
yeah, Montez Sweat, yeah. That's it's just that's a lot to ask, man, for a team. And they play admirably. I mean, this defense did turn it around this season. They started off really bad, and they kind of got back to a little bit of credibility like they were expected to be, but too little, a little too little, too late. And now I just think they just run out of steam. And this whole quarterback situation, like you said, not the unknown if Heineke's going to be able to go on Sunday or whatnot. It's just a lot to ask. If they got to run Garrett Gilbert back out there against the Dallas Cowboys, it's going to be a long day. Michael Parsons is going to feast, man. That kid, they might as well already give that kid the Defensive Rookie of the Year award. And to be quite honest, he's making a case for Defensive Player of the Year. So, yeah. So
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah,
nah, I'm there.
I'm not seeing much of a chance, man. You got a score prediction for this one?
Yeah, we're pretty close actually. I had it 44-21. I think that for the most part it's 44-14, and excuse me, Washington goes down there in garbage time and maybe puts up another touchdown. But yeah, nah, you're absolutely right, man. I mean, when you have they've dealt with their fair share of injuries. They've also dealt with their fair share of players being placed on COVID as well. So they may be looking to try to get some players back, maybe like Taylor Heineke. But even then, you're absolutely right. It's a lot to ask for a team like Washington to come back from. If you're asking a team like the Chiefs or maybe Tampa or even Dallas, you throw them in that conversation. They have enough players on that team to overcome that. They can overcome it to a degree. But Washington, I don't think they're there yet. I think that they're building something over there. But even if they bring back Sweat and if they were to bring back Heineke, it's going to be a lot to stop that offense. Maybe not on the defense. If you shut down Parsons, that's something different. But
It's a lot to ask.
it's a lot to ask. I mean, because what I will say is when we played Dallas, one thing that I hated seeing it, but because I'm a defense guy. As a defensive guy, I liked seeing it. I like that they moved Demarcus Lawrence along the line. They put him on the outside. They put him on the inside. And I wouldn't be shocked if they did the same thing against Washington. I mean, if you could put Parsons on the outside, and Gregory on the outside, and you got D-Law up the middle, I mean, that's a lot to ask for any offense, man. I mean, it's going to be brutal, man. So I can't see unless Dallas goes out there and lays an egg, and I mean like the biggest of eggs. I mean, which is unlikely. Dallas wins this game, and convincingly so. What's going on,
I
Eagles
definitely
obsessive?
agree. What's up, bro? Happy holidays to you too, man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Likewise, man. Happy holidays.
But
Yeah, bro. Those are my thoughts.
yeah, I totally agree. We can move on to the last game, man,
Uh,
and get ready to wrap it up soon, man. You already know, obviously. We know what that is. I used to come into this at the end. When we get to the Giants game, I'd be like the main event, but you know what I mean. I can't even call it that no more. You know what I mean. Our season is
Yeah.
definitely lost and in the garbage, man. So you want to start to get the ball rolling on this one, man? Tell me how you
Yeah.
feel, man.
Well, considering the fact that we're going to Philly, which is it's hard, man. I hate the Eagles, but playing in the link is hard for anybody, especially in December. Um, but I don't think that they're a team that is unbeatable. I think that you have to respect the run. I think that you still have to respect that front seven on their defense. But and look, I mean, we're going in there completely different than when we first played them. You know, we got Fromm coming in. Hopefully, Fromm can play better than Mike Lennon. I mean, I'm knocking on wood. I don't know if you can hear that, but it can't be worse than Mike Lennon. If it is, I just might lose myself. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna curse on here. I want to, but I'm not going to. Uh,
I mean,
but
you can
I
if you want
also
to, bro. It's all welcome.
there's just if Glennon is starting this game and it's not Fromm, I got a problem. I got a huge problem with that because then at that point, I I'm questioning the coach. And right now I know a lot of people are getting on Joe Judge, and I understand. I get it. I'm being a little bit more understanding. I think that he's kind of being dealt a bad hand. He has things he has to work on. I think that there's things that he has to work on, but he's improving on. But to go back to the game, I think that we're going to see a heavy run game by the Giants. I think the Giants see that Saquon Barkley is getting his legs under him. He's starting to look like his old self. He's having flashes. We kind of saw that in the Miami game. We saw it last week with Dallas. Um, so I think that we may see a heavy run game with Booker and Saquon. Jake Fromm, I had him at around 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think that this will be the game that Galladay gets his first touchdown. I feel like a broken record because I feel like I say that every week. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I say that every week. This is the game that he gets his first touchdown. Will I be shocked if we leave and he doesn't get his first touchdown? No, I've been dealing with this for about 15 weeks now, so I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I think Philly's going to play us tough. They're going to play us hard. Right now, they're playing for something. But the Giants were out of the playoffs. Season's done. Why not spoil a couple teams a shot going to the playoffs? Um, I actually think the Giants win this game. I'm gonna be honest. I think the Giants win this game. I think the Giants win. I'm gonna say 24-17. 24-17. I think that we get the ground game going, but I ultimately think that what's going to become the difference maker is how is this defense going to adjust to Philly's offense? Because now, well, I mean, we just spoke about it, but Jalen Hurts, in my opinion, just had his best game. I mean, so that the kid can run, that they can easily put up 200 yards rushing, and they put up a lot of yards rushing against us, running on us, excuse me, when we last played them. And I'm expecting the same thing, but I think ultimately we take away the throwing threat of Jalen Hurts. I'm not too worried about that, but if this New York Giants offense thinks that they're going to come in here scoring 9, 12 points, thinking they're going to win this game, yeah, you got to be 4-11, my friend. So, but ultimately, yeah, no, the Giants win this game. I think they win, like I said, 24-17.
All right, yeah. One thing, like what I think, because I live right up here. I live right outside of Philly. Well, I live right down here in Wilmington, Delaware. So I'm right, like
Oh,
half
you
hour from the
close.
link. I'm half
You
hour from the
know.
link. Yeah, I even had thought about getting tickets for this game, but as the season was starting unwinding, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna freeze my ass off, and when we're gonna be up there pretty much playing for nothing. But
Yep, I feel it.
this rivalry is deep, man, and one thing I will say is just throw everything out. It doesn't need to me when you come to an Eagle Giants game, it doesn't even really matter about which team's having the better year. This is always going to be a rough game, man. It's going to always be
Yep.
a hard fought game both ways. I've seen so many classic Eagle Giant games I can't even count, man. You know what I mean? Just how many amazing Eagle Giant games I've seen, man. And I love this rivalry, man. We've been on unfortunately been on the losing end of it a little too much especially lately. But I do agree that I think we can go out there, man. Hope we can go out there and get the W-2, man. I actually do like us this week. I think this could be the last game we win all season, maybe. But if that is the last game we win all season, I'll be good with that just for my own personal sanity. But
Yeah,
I think we got things we need to be able to do, man. We got to be able to go out there and, like you said, absolutely, we got to get that run game going. We got to get the run game going and keep that because got to try to keep that offense off the field because that offense right now is the absolute strength of the Philadelphia Eagle team. And if we can get some long, sustained drives going by running the football, by getting the run game going, finding ways to get Saquon Barkley out in space, get Devontae Booker just hitting the hole hard, we might be able to have some success again. Like you said, I do agree it's going to take more than 13 points this time to beat this football team. That's not going to be good enough
mhm.
to beat them this time down at the link. So we're going to have to figure out a way to stop being scared to score a touchdown. I feel like this team is absolutely allergic to scoring touchdowns, man. And I just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Because it's just like it's almost like you get down in the red zone and all of a sudden it's like, oh no, I don't want to actually cross the goal line. Like I just don't get it, man.
No,
So
you're not
we gotta
wrong. You're not wrong.
just gotta figure out a way to get some long sustained drives going. And I think and I think we can actually find a way to beat these guys, man, and get our first season sweep of the Eagles since I don't even remember like how we got a season sweep of the Eagles. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, man. And you know what? I will say this much. If we don't win another game this year, outside of this game, if we come in and win and don't win another game, I'll be all right. I ain't gonna lose my
That's what I
mind.
said. Me too. I'll
You
be good
know,
with that.
it's funny that you say that we're scared of scoring points because you're right. You are so right. I actually have us named the New York Field Goal Giants. That is
Yeah,
the name. And it has to stop, man. And I think that it will. I think that and look, I thought classified Joel made a great point. I mean, I don't want to see Giant. I mean, I don't want to see Giants fans get their hopes up with Jake Fromm. Kind of like what the Jets did with Mike White this year. There's a reason
oh
why he
yeah,
fell that far in the draft. There's a reason why, when Buffalo took him, he was that far down in the depth chart. There's a reason for everything. But if he goes out there and plays pretty well, I'm not gonna say he's the guy going forward, but you might have yourself a backup. And
absolutely.
honestly, shoot, I mean, if you bring him back as a quarterback number two, to Daniel Jones, I mean, that might be the player that could put a little fire under Daniel Jones. We may not have to go get a Mariota or a Tyrod Taylor, to put Daniel Jones on the seat, a little bit. Jake Fromm might be able to do that. Will he do it? Maybe not, but it's possible. It's very much possible. I liked some of the things I saw from Jake Fromm in Dallas. Granted, it was one drive and it was against prevent defense, and they already had the game put away. I get it, but I liked his release compared to Daniel Jones, and that was really about it. I was a little taken back by his throwing motion. That sidearm stuff is very Philip Rivers esque, at least to me. And I was never a fan of
Mm.
the way that Philip Rivers throws the ball. I always thought it was that sidearm thing was a little weird. But yeah, man, I mean, like I said, if this is the only game we win for the rest of the year, I'm not going to complain. But will I be shocked if the Giants lose this game? Honestly, no. I would not be shocked if the Giants win this game because Philly is playing pretty good. And again, they're playing for something. And, when you're hungry and you're playing for something, you know, teams can feel that. Teams can feel that energy, especially from the opposing side. So, yeah, man. I mean, I'm actually really excited. This is hey, man, this is a historic rivalry, just like you said, Matt. I mean, anytime we play Philly, I'm excited for it. A lot of times in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's probably going to be a heartbreaking game because it always feels like every time we play Philly, something happens to us and it breaks my heart. I mean, you have that field goal most recently. You have Carson Wentz throwing that ball to I think it was Boston Scott over Jabril Peppers last year. They find ways to pull out games and to make me want to punch my TV, though I've never done that and probably never will. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a good one. It's regardless, man. I mean, I want to say this much real quick, and I'll turn it over to you. Um, as bad as we are, and as painful as this season has been, I'm gonna miss watching this team. As bad as we've been the last, what, decade almost, if not a couple years out
Yes.
the decade, I have yet to miss a game. I will not miss a game. You feel me? So it's like we got to take it for what it is. I'm gonna miss this team when the season's slow. I mean, when the off season is slow, and we got to wait till the draft. We're finding the littlest things to cover on YouTube. For this team, man. I just wish things could have gone better for us. That's all.
Absolutely agree with all of that, man. Another tough year, man. But like you said, my love for this team will never change, man. And I'll be the same. I will absolutely miss this team once the season is over. It'll be another long off season and be waiting again for August, September to get back at it, man. But just a couple of things like I piggyback off you with Jake Fromm, man. I really, like I said, I've been pretty emphatic about it. That there's no reason to see Mike Glenn. I did a little video I had put up a couple of days ago
Yep.
about yeah, like talking to Joe Judge, man. I know he's Joe Judge ain't gonna obviously ever see the video, obviously, but at the same time, like just telling him, man, you get nothing out of it. You're not doing anything for your coaching future here by playing Mike Glennon still. That's not gonna. Mike Glennon's not part of the future, so there's no point in continuing going forward with Mike Glennon. You know what I mean? Just go ride these last few games out with Jake Fromm and see what he got. And I don't want to hear the excuses about he only knows 60% of the playbook. Well, then you devise a game plan around what he knows and make it happen. You know what I mean? This is why you guys are NFL coaches.
That's,
There's nothing, you get nothing out of seeing Mike Glennon back out there, man. And just also for what it's worth, man, because Jacob Fromm could be a part of the future of this team in some capacity, whether it's a backup, whether it's a future starting quarterback. Because my thing about a player like Jake Fromm, he sat behind Josh Allen already for now what, a year and a half or over a year and a half, and he's learned. I'm sure he's learned some things. He's had nothing to do but soaking information. He's a smart kid. He's come from a winning college program. The kid has a winning mentality, and you really, that's one thing I can say for, like, Daniel Jones might have more physical tools than him, but Daniel Jones doesn't have that winning mentality at any level, at least any level that I know. I don't know what he did in high school, but as far as in college and so far in the pros, Daniel Jones doesn't know what it means to be a winner. Jay Fromm has experienced winning football in his years down at Georgia, man. So that's something to be said about that too. Because when he came in, even though it was like you said, that final drive and the Cowboys had the game put away already, he still just played with a confidence like that I just have honestly never seen with Daniel Jones when he's out there, man. It's one of his biggest problems with Daniel Jones is he doesn't seem to play with that confidence that a starting quarterback should have, man. Have confidence in your ability. The kid has the physical tools to get the job done, man. He just needs to put it all together, man.
you're right.
And then and I think like I said, I do like the Giants in this one, man. I think it's gonna be another hard fought Eagle Giant classic. And I think the Giants can pull this one out. I say we actually thought 27. I say 27-24. I think we win with a game-winning Graham Gano field goal, brother. I think we send it
That would
away just
be
like that,
nice.
man.
That would be nice, man. I mean, honestly, we're due for a have a taste of your own medicine to the Philadelphia Eagles. They haven't experienced a miracle at the Meadowlands, or just what was it, 3 years ago when their kicker kicked a 62-yard field goal on us.
I was
Yeah,
at that game, bro.
damn, I'm sorry.
I
I'm
was at
so
that game. I was sitting in the end zone that he kicked the winning field goal in. I was sitting right there behind those crossbars, bro. And I watched that ball barely get across that joint, man. It broke. It was devastating, man.
yeah,
It
I'm
was
not
so
gonna
hot
lie.
that day.
That's that would be my Joker origin story if I saw that in person. I'm not even gonna lie. I might be a completely different person after that game if I saw that in person.
Oh
I
man,
might
that was
lose
a
my
tough
mind.
one, man.
It would
That was
every time we play them, it always feels like a tough one. I'm not gonna lie. I'll give Philly that, and that's why I hate them so much. They bring me so much pain throughout the years. But you know what? It's a new time, man. It's a new time. Maybe this is the coach, Joe Judge that can go there, be that. I'm not gonna say he is Jim Fossil, but be that Jim Fossil that can go down to Philly and beat Philly. Because we didn't really have that with Shermer. We didn't really have that with Ben McAdoo, where, but I feel confident. I'm going to be honest with you. Maybe it's blind, maybe it's false hope. But I feel confident when Joe Judge plays. Well, obviously he's not playing, but when we go against the Philadelphia Eagles with Joe Judge as our head coach, I really do. I liked how we played them last year, despite, the first time we played them, we came up short. This year, I thought we played them hard. And I think that's what's that honestly, I think that's what it's going to be like this time around too. It's going to be a hard fought game, but who wants to win more? So it's going to be fun.
I hope the New York Giants do because right now the way Philly beats up on us overall, we should really every time we play them they should get our best shot. But one more thing, my boy just brought up, my boy Philly B, my guy Philly B here brought up something. Brought up. Give a little plug to. I do a series called Beer in the Story, man. I did a Super Bowl series where I was talking about all the Super Bowls. And
Mm.
I drink. I'm a beer drinker, so I drink a lot. I drink some beer. I drink some beer. Tell a little story about whatever. And the very first one I ever did was about that Eagles game when they kicked that game winning field goal. I had called that one. It was my worst road game experience ever. and,
Wow.
and, and that, because it wasn't even just a game that day. It was a lot of craziness in the stadium that day because it was like super duper hot stadium. At the link, they ran out of bottled water in the stadium, bro, because it was that hot that everybody bought it all up. It
Damn.
was just a crazy day, man. The first touchdown we scored when we were coming back, I missed that because I was up on the concourse because it was so hot in the stadium. I needed air conditioning. I needed to go somewhere where I could feel some kind of air condition. I
Hey, yo,
missed
I
I missed
don't blame you, dog. I do not blame you. Look, I live in North Florida right now, but I've lived here for about like 6 months. Prior to that, I spent 18 years of my 25 years living in South Florida, like near
Mm.
Miami. It is hot.
Whew.
It is humid.
Yes.
I do not know what a winter is. When we say it's cold, it is literally 60 degrees outside and it's still hot outside. Besides the point. I've sat in a Dolphins game with my ex, and I can't hold you. Before they did the renovations to the Hard Rock Stadium, it was tough. It was
Oh
tough,
wow.
man. I mean, I would get up, I'd walk over to like concessions, because at the old stadium they had like a big fan next to concessions, and like literally just stand there and close my eyes and just like wait, because I'm not a Dolphins fan. I don't give a damn what I'm missing, but I'm just standing there waiting. She'd be calling me dramatic. I'm like, man, you think my fat ass could stand out in that sun? It's 96 degrees outside. I got a hat on, but that ain't helping me. You think that's going, man, you out your damn mind. And if you're telling me it was hot up there, man, I could only imagine.
Well, this game was in September, so it was an early season game, and
Yeah,
it was hot. It was like it was so crazy, man. It
I
was
don't
like
know
that
how you do
uncomfortable
that.
kind of heat,
I
and
don't know
then
how,
end up for the game,
man.
then the game to finish like that, it was brutal, man. But one more before we get up out of here, man. Let them know once again, man, where they can find you, Hit Squad, man.
Hey, man, before I do that, I want to say thank you so much for real, Mac. I really love what you're doing over here. It's crazy because, not to be weird, you kind of look like my dad. I'm not even gonna lie. If I showed you a picture of my dad, you look exactly like my dad. Uh, my girl has said the same shit. It's actually really weird. Besides all that, I appreciate what you're doing, man. I mean, you're doing something great over here, and we're doing something great with the Big Blue crew, man. I mean, you guys got to stay tuned for that. But thank you for having me on the show. You can find me Hit Squad Productions on YouTube. You can find me Hit Squad Productions on Twitter, and that's about it. I mean, I ain't got no other social media, so yeah.
All right, man. Thanks again for coming on, man. This was a great show, man. I really appreciate you, brother. And we
Yeah, man.
definitely gonna link up some more down the road, man. So,
Anytime, man. Anytime you want to do this again, I'm always free, so I'm always with it,
all
man.
right, bro. Definitely appreciate it, man. I'm ready to bring this outro up, bro. Please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants Fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants Fan. That's MACDA Giants.